It's dawn at Sarina Beach in Cape Hillsborough National Park, and expectations are running high amongst animal lovers, photographers and Instagrammers. They gather to watch a spectacle. Every morning, about 1 hour before sunrise, agile wallabies and eastern grey kangaroos flock to the beach to feed on mangrove seed pods that litter the sand here. To manage the spectators and to ensure the safety of the visitors and the welfare of the animals, an official wildlife carer is on site every morning. This is one of the best known attractions along the Mackay coast and has put Cape Hillsborough National Park firmly onto the must-do list. Cape Hillsborough is in tropical North Queensland. With its forest-clad hills and wide beaches, it is a hugely popular destination and one of the major tourism drawcards of the area. Most activities, including the daily morning marsupial show, centres around sweeping Sarina Beach. Considered one of the best beaches in Queensland, the northern end of it is marked by a cluster of rocks called the Division Rocks. They are a clue that there is more to this stunningly beautiful coastal national park, less than 50 kilometres northwest of the regional city of Mackay. These rocks are of volcanic origin, and for this reason this nature reserve is special for geologists and volcanologists. It marks the northernmost point of the Cosgrove Hotspot Track, a chain of extinct volcanoes that extend southwards across eastern Australia through Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria. This is the longest land-based hotspot track in the world. All the peaks in the area are of volcanic origin and they are the oldest in this chain. It is hard to imagine that this now peaceful tropical landscape was born in cataclysmic events. Today, dense vegetation covers the volcanic rock. On its steep slopes grows forests with hoop pines. These towering Araucaria species grow up to 50 meters tall. In Cape Hillsborough National Park, they grow on the eastern and northeastern sides of the Central Plateau and on the north slopes of the Hidden Valley. Wedge Island off Cape Hillsborough is another landmark in the park, and it is more evidence of an ancient volcano that formed some 34 million years ago. During low tide, it is possible to walk to the island. I chose Cape Hillsborough as the starting point to a road trip that connects the coast with the rainforest and the dry interior. It is a road trip from the well-known to the unknown. The first leg leads me from Cape Hillsborough to Finch Hatton. Driving out of the park, a large and sheltered mangrove forest stretches out into the shallow sand bay. This is another aspect of the diverse vegetation of the reserve. Mangroves play an important role by physically protecting the coastline and providing food and shelter for fish, crabs and birds. Not far from here rises Pinnacle Peak. Sitting on private land, this is another striking volcanic landmark. Like all the other hills and peaks around here, this dramatic spire is also part of the Cosgrove Hotspot Track. This first part of the drive is a back road journey through a delightful, small-scale landscape of hills, farms and sugarcane. Only partly sealed, this section leads via Mount Ossa and Mirani to Queensland Dam, a large water reservoir. From there, it's into the Pioneer Valley. At Finch Hatton, I get my first taste of famous Eungella National Park. With me is ecologist Kimberly O'Neill, and together we follow the Finch Hatton Creek upstream into Finch Hatton Gorge. Here the creek forms waterfalls, cascades and refreshing pools in polished rock. Over this magic watercourse towers tropical rainforest. From Finch Hatton, the road leads into the far end of the Pioneer Valley and then dramatically via switchbacks up onto the Eungella Plateau. This section of Eungella National Park sits high above the surrounding plains and forms an often mist-shrouded forest refuge harbouring diverse plants and wildlife. The park preserves 30,000 hectares of rainforest that thrives up here due to higher rainfall and fertile soils. This is one of Queensland's most ecologically diverse parks. With Kimberly, I explore the Cedar Grove track. The walk connects the Sky Window, a dramatic lookout over the Pioneer Valley, with the quaint Eungella Chalet. On this walk, rainforest in all its glory can be experienced. Epiphytes on trees, moss on the ground, lush ferns, fig trees and tulip oaks, and various palms. It is a little window into an unknown world. It is like walking into Narnia. The next landmark after the rainforest is Eungella Dam, a large reservoir embedded in picturesque hills. The man-made lake holds over 112,000 megalitres. Eungella Dam is already in the rain shadow and the rainforest is replaced by dry eucalyptus forest. Eungella Dam was constructed in 1969 to supply water for the thermal power station in Collinsville and the towns of Collinsville and Scottsville. It also supplies water to the towns and coalfields at Glendon and Moranbah. Eungella Dam is one of Queensland's freshwater fisheries. It has made a name for producing oversized sooty grunter, a fish endemic to northern Australia, and more recently barramundi, prized by anglers and an integral part of the Australian cuisine. I'm now heading away from the dam, the last highlight still within easy reach of Mackay, and enter a relatively unknown area. After Eungella Dam towards Nebo, the unsealed back road becomes more remote. Then the next large reserve comes into sight, Homevale National Park. Dominated by dramatic peaks like Mount Britain and the sharp spires of the Marlin Spikes, this is the next major volcanic stepping stone along the Cosgrove hotspot track. Below these dramatic volcanic mountains was once the settlement of Mount Britain, a thriving gold mining town. At the height of the gold mining era in 1883, the population reached around 1,500. Almost nothing but some old mining equipment is left from those days. In the afternoon, storms start to build up over the volcanic peaks, and by the time I reach Nebo, just 35 kilometers from here, the heavens open up. The next morning, Nebo is cloaked in mist. Sitting on the steep banks of the Nebo Creek, a cluster of old buildings like the Historical Museum and the Nebo Hotel give Nebo its cute factor. Between Nebo and Claremont, the sealed Peak Downs Highway crosses the Bowen Basin, Australia's most productive coal mining region with enormous open-cut mines. Then a stunning sight distracts. All of a sudden, rocky peaks rise out of the flat landscape. What distracts drivers here are the Gemini Mountains, formed by Mount Custer and Mount Pollux. They are about 30 million year old volcanic plugs. These dramatic peaks form part of the Peak National Park, a fractured reserve that protects sections of a vast volcanic landscape. This is the next installment of the Cosgrove hotspot track. The Gemini Mountains are only accessible for walkers, and adventurous bushwalkers can attempt to climb Mount Pollux. With me is again Kimberly, this time with her partner. It is a steep, more or less trackless scramble to the top. The reward for this effort is a sweeping view over the surrounding peaks. To get an idea of the grandeur and beauty of the Peak National Park, I take to the skies. It's a flight over the unknown. I lift off with Marty Bush, a helicopter pilot and owner of Bush Heli Services. Open farmland stretches as far as the eye can see. And in the middle of all this flat open country sits the Peak Range. He aims for the first feature of this volcanic landscape, Lord's Tableland Mountain, a 320 meter high volcanic mesa. then we are heading towards distant peaks. This dramatic and unique volcanic landscape defines the relatively unknown Issak Region. With the sun near the horizon, Māori heads to Wolfang Peak. This isolated dramatic peak, less than 50 kilometers northwest of the regional town of Claremont, rises right next to the Peak Downs Highway, 572 meters into the sky. Then it is back to base. Claremont is the turning point of the journey. I head towards the coast again. For a while, the volcanic peaks in the area accompany me on the way east. Then the drama of the volcanic past begins to peter out. Once again, the Bowen Basin takes centre stage. On the way up to a lookout near Middlemount, the road passes the town's water tank, now adored with the region's newest tank art. From a vantage point, I get a glimpse of the scale of coal mining here. Then it is on to the town of Sarina. The scenery once again has changed dramatically. The dry interior is replaced with the lushness of the coastal fringe. Sarina is all about sugar. A curiosity along the main street is the ugly sculpture of Buffy the cane toad. The town is dominated by the local sugar mill. During the season, this industrial monstrosity belches out steam. Next to the mill is the sugar shed. On tours, visitors get an excellent introduction to the processes involved in extracting sugar products from cane. Sarina is just 10 kilometers from the coast. A short drive brings me to the sleepy coastal town of Sarina Beach. Lush tropical vegetation frame a protected bay there, and mountains form a picturesque backdrop. For many, coconut palm fringed Sarina Beach, with its golden sand and gently waves, is the main attraction. The water temperature varies between 22 degrees and a balmy 28 degrees in summer. The return to Mackay, less than 40 kilometers north of Sarina Beach, leads through endless sugarcane fields. This underscores that the sugarcane industry is a major contributor to the economy of the Mackay area. The region is one of the largest sugar producing areas in Australia, and Mackay Sugar is the second largest sugar manufacturer in the country. Then it is back in Mackay. The journey, however, is not over yet. There's another unknown jewel of the region waiting to be discovered. To get there, I join a boat tour. Leaving the marina at Mackay, the captain sets course to northeast. We are heading to the Cumberland Island group, the southernmost island group of the Whitsundays. Contrary to the big names of the Whitsundays, Hamilton, Haymond and Daydream Islands come to mind, these islands still hide in relative obscurity for most of us. Our first destination is Keswick Island, just 32 kilometers northeast of Mackay. Keswick Island is a tropical paradise, a spectacular and more or less untouched jewel in the Coral Sea. Most of the island is national park. We anchor in a beautiful pristine bay with a blinding white beach. There are no signs of man-made structures, just glorious nature. This is a perfect playground for swimming in warm tropical waters, snorkeling on reefs in swimming distance, or trying out paddleboarding. Back on board, it is time to get some calories into us. After a buffet-style lunch, we head due north. Our destination is another hidden island secret, Cockermouth Island. Named after a town in England, Cockermouth Island is another even more pristine gem along the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Completely uninhabited, the hilly island has a sand spit that winds its way through a turquoise tidal lagoon on the western side of the island. Together with sandy beaches and fringing coral gardens with an abundance of marine life, this is the ultimate tropical island paradise. The island is protected as a national park. While the others snorkel, I get dropped off at one of the secluded beaches. As soon as the Zodiac is gone, I'm alone. There is a distinct Robinson Crusoe feel. Oysters cover the rocks. There is no litter on the beach. In the back, masses of orchids bloom. Time slows down. The daily pressures of modern life drop off. This is paradise.